It's not about making things harder. Focus on quality of movement before complexity. This is foundational level. This is connection, and this is movement and awareness and brain-body connection, coordinated activity. But this one is really working on quality. Even if you have to stay for a long period of time working on the foundational levels or the basics, do that. Hello and welcome to RITP podcast. This is Kokeb McDonald. Today we are talking about step 3 of the Create an At-Home program series. In our last episode, we explored how to observe and understand your child's developmental needs. We're going to connect that understanding to practical action, selecting the right exercise for your child. This is where the magic of reflex integration begins, especially the play-based approach. Once you know what challenges or goals you are addressing, you can begin to match exercises to your child's specific needs. This is what makes home programs effective. They're not just a random list of activities, but carefully chosen movements that target exactly what your child needs to grow. Every child is unique. What works beautifully for one child may not work the same way for another, and that's okay. The process is meant to be flexible and responsive. If you're working with a specialist like an occupational therapist, always begin with their recommendation first. They will likely give you a customized program that aligns with your child's assessment and findings. So make sure to follow those exercises consistently and give feedback, and then let them guide you in picking the appropriate exercise you can do at home. Let them know what's working, what's challenging, and how your child responds emotionally and physically. If you're supplementing therapy or don't yet have access to a specialist or a therapist, don't worry, there are plenty of resources available. Inside RITP for Parents, you'll find videos, explanations, and some sample plans that demonstrate how different exercises support reflex patterns and reflex retentions. You'll see how a simple movement can help your child build balance, coordination, focus, or more. Here are a few important reminders when selecting exercises. Number 1 is match exercise to the goals that you are working on. Think back to what you observed in the last step. If your child struggles with, let's say, handwriting or fine motor, focus on fine motor and midline crossing activities. If they're having difficulty with posture or balance, choose core strengthening activities and vestibular exercises. And then also matching those functional skills with the reflex pattern that might influence them. If you have the training, combine those activities. For instance, with fine motor, you may start to consider working on some of the palmar grasp exercise. If you're working on vestibular activities, these are reflex patterns you probably want to target would be the TLR. You want to do the Babinski foot grasp. You might want to also work on other reflex patterns that might influence the vestibular, like the STNR and the TLR and the motor reflex or more. However, we don't want it to complicate it so much because you might not have a specialist guiding you through these exercises and doing the appropriate screening to know your child's baseline. So what you can do is start, if you're using our RITP for Parents program, you can start with the starter playlist and experiment working from the level 1 and keep working on that. Number 2, start simple. Always begin at your child's current developmental level. You don't have to rush to make it harder. It's not about making things harder. Focus on quality of movement before complexity. This is foundational level. This is connection, and this is movement and awareness and brain-body connection, coordinated activity. But this one is really working on quality. Even if you have to stay for a long period of time working on the foundational levels or the basics, do that. Number 3 is adjust based on feedback from the child that you're working with. So that can be your child. Watch how your child responds. Do they enjoy it? Are they frustrated? Is the exercise too easy or too hard? Their response is information you can use to make the program better. Part of the intervention is having them move, and you need their buy-in into moving. If they're not fully involved and invested in the activity, you might not see the best result either. Make sure that you are really watching for feedback from them. As long as you understand the quality of the movement we're working on, you can make it fun. Be creative and make it more play-based and not just a boring exercise. But for now, think about getting feedback from them. And number 4 is track their emotions and energy as much as their movement. The goal isn't just to complete the exercise, it's to help your child's brain and body connect in a way that feels safe and rewarding. And this is really important for the brain to cooperate and for them to be present, is to make sure as they're feeling safe with the activity. If any of the activity is making them unsafe and increasing anxiety, something you have to scale back on. So let's use an example. For instance, let's imagine there is a 7-year-old boy who is having difficulty focusing in class and struggles in handwriting and fine motor activity. Let's say his therapist observed that he still has some ATNR retention and TLR. The motor reflex is obvious in some palmar grasp. His home program might include some fun activities. So in the therapy, the therapist was going to take the time to work on in depth on the child and more therapeutic activities. But your home program might look like this. It might be that they might give you a hand warm-up activities or exercises to prepare for fine motor activity, an exercise that can target the different reflex pattern, let's say the palmar grasp, or the ATNR, they might give you that they can do, or the STNR while they're seated or even standing and working on the wall. That might be something that you might do. It might be some floor activities like rolling and crawling to target balance and bilateral coordination just before sitting down and working to really get the right and left hemisphere connecting. Or it can be some rhythmic movement activity to calm the nervous system, or some breathing activity that you're going to do just before you sit down to do the activity or functional skill. So your therapist might, give you different creative ways of putting these activities together and when you can plug it in during your schedule, your daily schedule. So understanding the why behind these activities will give you encouragement to continue doing it. This is something you can also talk to your child so they understand why they're doing these activities. Why am I doing it and my sister or brother are not doing it? So you can really help them how their body work and the benefit. And in some times that we also call it a sensory diet. What we mean is like, what kind of movement do we need your body to wake it up, and then or your brain to be ready to focus and listen, or to wake up our muscles, because sometimes not all our muscles are awake to be able to do a specific activity. So you can explain to them in the way that makes sense to them. When parents understand why each exercise is included, they can help their child to do them more effectively with patience, intention, and joy. The more you understand the why behind it, it will also gives you the good motivation for you. Some key takeaways from our session today will be to choose exercise based on your child's goal and reflex pattern, to start simple, focus on quality, and adjust as needed, to track your child's physical and emotional response, and to make sure that you're collaborating and giving feedback with the therapist so they can continue to adapt the activities they suggested. So as you begin trying these activities, remember that progress comes from consistent practice and loving connection. As parents, we want to our kids, and we have all these home programs we want to do with them. The number one is connection and safety. So you want to prioritize that, because your encouragement is just as powerful as the exercises. Connection is very powerful as well. So don't lose that for the sake of the exercise. In our next episode, we'll talk about creating a safe environment for learning and integration to happen. Your child must feel secure, calm, and supported. Safety is the foundation for success. If you like more guidance, check out the RITP for Parents, where you'll find the RITP app, home program templates, and the RITP book bundle that walks you step by step through designing a customized program for your child. Until next time, keep encouraging, keep connecting, and happy integration.